Hi, my name's Lee Anderson. I am Faculty Head of Social Subjects, RMPS and Wider Achievement. And to my right is my fabulous colleague Nikki Dillon, who is Faculty Head of Inclusion. The last time we were actually on stage together, it was a bit controversial. We were in a little show in our school called Strictly. We were competing against each other and somebody cheated and won by half a point. So you might see a wee bit of animosity because I'm obviously trying to get that half a point claim back so that I become champion of this chat, but we'll see how we go on. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we're literally going to just talk you through bit by bit our kind of vision and our approach to how throughout this year we're going to be making our best attempt to try and deliver this new award that SQA have set up. Nikki would be the main driving force for this award, and obviously as part of my remit it's wider achievement. So the thing that I'm always trying to do is to find an opportunity for our young people that's not just an opportunity that will give them an extra, qualification or something on a certificate, an opportunity that is meaningful, that is relevant for them, and something that by the end of it, that is, as Leslie was saying, it's something that's worthwhile and something that they, and for us as a school, is sustainable. So for those who don't know about the fabulous school that is Whitehill Secondary, we are in the east end of Glasgow. We're a small school, and there's a variety of reasons as to why we felt that this award was appropriate. So first of all, again, this is probably something that most schools and most of you would totally understand. A number of our young people are presenting with a range of social, emotional and behavioural and mental health barriers that as faculty head of a subject, it's not something that I would have experience in, but we were talking about this morning, how the last kind of 2 years, the language that's been used and the young people's needs is coming across, and mental health seems to be at the forefront of that. So for me as a faculty leader and as our team, that's something that we have to take forward and understand where the young people are coming from. Also, young people are facing barriers to learning and engage with a range of services, which is something that Nikki will be talking about throughout her presentation.
Our school is, as Lee said, in the east end of Glasgow, and 76% of young people that attend are from SIMD levels 1 to 3. So there's a high level of poverty. Part of the mainstream school we have attached is 2 co-located units, and one is for a citywide provision for school refusers. So a lot of the young people that attend are very much seen as part of our school community, but they present with a range of particular mental health, and it's significant. Our job is to prepare young people for giving them skills for life learning and work, and when we're faced, get these young people a positive destination, and you're arguing they're not getting out of their bed, we're sending people down, they're scared to come out their bedroom, they're speaking to our home link worker through the door, and for them that is a big thing. So it's actually working as a school to support not just the young people in the mainstream, but these vulnerable young people who have particular challenging mental health issues. And we've been working with them for a number of years, and it's challenging, but we want to try and get information out there to them so that the stage intervention, if we're battling it below, then it's not reactive, we're preventing these things from happening.
So you'll see that this kind of famous phraseology is bouncing about all the schools, this idea of a growth mindset. Now, we are using it in our school, but we have adapted this growth mindset to be more about resilience and coping strategies. And on the launch of the Mental Health Award, it just fitted in beautifully, because as a school, we see so many of our young people who just cannot take that next step. And we saw that in our results this year across the board. So many of our young people just got the D, and it was like, right, how do we get to that C? And a lot of it was they'd given up. It was the barrier, it was the demand, it was the level, it was just too much for them. And now that we've identified a variety of issues, this is something, as Nikki said, that we are obviously hoping, maybe not necessarily this immediate change, but if we can build it in gradually, then we would see a change obviously over the next few years. As I've already said, My remit is wider achievement, and Nikki's remit is also developing the young workforce. So both of us work very well together, because obviously it's the same type of thing that we're doing, a wee bit of a different strategy, but we're trying to pull this together so that two of us are taking it forward. I've already said the aim is to engage our young people with a topic that's relevant, and it is all over social media, and the term mental health awareness, mental health, it's everywhere, but our young people and a lot of our staff we don't quite know what it is, we don't quite know what we're allowed to say, what we're not allowed to say, and it's about battling this stigma surrounding mental health. I kind of put in a wee bit at the bottom just why it's relevant to us. I am RMPS teacher, that's my proper job, and a couple of our units in my suite of subjects are looking at, one of the units is morality and justice, and then we've got crime and the law. You know, within our actual topic, our higher topics, our National 5 topics, mental health is getting bounced about, the ideas are getting bounced about, and it's really just so if we get to that stage when we're talking about that, young people are fully aware of, well, just because you've got a mental health issue doesn't mean you're going to commit crime. So it's obviously looking at the causes of that as well.
Okay, I'm going to go through our provision for supporting mental health before we talk about the award, just to give you a background of what we do in school. So last year, we engaged lifelink counsellors. Our head teacher has been so supportive in supporting it that she's actually allocated PEF money towards 1.5 day. If you're in Glasgow, you'll know that we're entitled to half a day of counselling provision, but we've paid for an extra 1.5 days so that 10 people are seen in a week. Previously, 2 young people were able to be seen by the counsellor, and we had a waiting list that was 30 plus. So this is really beneficial for the school. We're involved with the charity Y People, who are based in Govan. They work with young people who are at risk of offending or committing antisocial behaviour. We have tried to look at group work, specifically in the BGE, for young people who are struggling with aspects of their mental health. So we do things like Anchor Anger, which is anger management, and building resilience. Again, group work for Y Care looked about identifying the needs in young people and working with them to stop offending in their communities. We have a mentoring programme where young people work with specified mentors, and lifelink, come in and see them once a week and just build that positive relationship. In PSHE, we cover a range of topics that cover the benchmarks for health and wellbeing, but I will describe later on how they fit into the outcomes. We recognised in the senior phase, as Lee said before, big thing, young people got to their prelims, and we saw an increase in number of them coming to our door. We can't cope, we're stressed out, tears, I can't do this, I'm leaving school. So we recognised this, and we've arranged for October and February 2 senior study weekends, not just focusing on the work, but it's to build resilience, take them out of their comfort zone, get them to do rock climbing, canoeing, but do relaxation classes, mindfulness classes, how to cope with stress leading up to exams. That last year was very, very successful. We, as a pastoral care team, put in pre-examination support. Instead of doing one-to-ones this year, we're going to be offering classes like relaxation, etc. on the lead up, yoga, just to work with the young people who are affected. In Whitehill, we have a night school. I know a lot of you think, are you mad? You work all day, what are you doing? This came from working with the young people in the Whitehill Support Centre. A lot of them, as I said before, struggled to get through the door. And we introduced this on a Tuesday evening from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So if the problem or the issues arise from anxiety, being surrounded by other people, it's 5 young people, maybe 10 maximum, who work in a one-to-one with a teacher. They get their dinner. It's a very nurturing approach, and what we've found is the parents come in with them, and they actually work as a support network for parents too. So they're in a room together talking, and they get a lot of reassurance from that, and young people are supported in that way. We've been trained in a range of things this year, so mental health first aiders. We're doing the On Edge toolkit, so our teachers have been trained in self-harm strategies. I'm a SIS trained in the suicide prevention, and this year we decided, rather than it coming from staff, as part of the buddy training, 36 years were trained in the Safe Talk Suicide Prevention and Mental Health course, which has been fab. We have effective partner work at transitions, so supporting those young people early, making sure that they're okay, that the support is in place for them and their families. And we have early and enhanced transitions, especially from primary schools. We do a lot of enhanced nurture, where young people are coming up from the start of P7 once a month into the secondary, just to get to know the school, get to know the processes and the teachers, and to support their mental health. And we've started to do mental health assemblies, so just to raise awareness and look at different aspects of mental health. Just a couple of statistics. From 2016-17 we had 38 sessions with Lifelink. That has increased by 30 because of the extra time we're providing. When we spoke to our counsellor and did an evaluation, the things at the bottom were the client issues that they reported. So low mood, depression, stress, anxiety, bereavement, peer relationships, and low self-esteem and family issues. Okay. As a school, we want to take forward the following improvement priorities. So we have agreed that the money will remain for the PEF funding. We are implementing a programme called the Blues programme. It's a pilot. It's children's first. So this year they're coming out to work with our 5th and 6th years. They do an evaluation with the whole of 5th year. Based on their scores, they identify those young people that are at risk of suffering from mental health or emotional health. They take them, and with groups, small groups, they work on improving aspects of their mental health. So it's a fantastic programme where 40 young people will receive support throughout the year. The Resilience programme, again, we spoke about it earlier in terms of the study weekends. We are promoting YCSA. We have got quite a few asylum seekers, and we want to promote the work that YCSA do. So they deliver CBT and the personal centred therapy, as well as group work. Support one-to-one mentoring. We've got a new campus co-op, so work with one-to-one mentors with young people who are vulnerable within the school. In terms of mentoring programmes, we are very fortunate. The MCR programme, 60 young people are supported through MCR, and we've got 40 mentored through other means, whether it's businesses, teachers in the school. So a quarter of our school population are getting one-to-one support, not necessarily for mental health, but in terms of nurture. They're getting that one-to-one hour a week with people that's just there for them. Okay, as a pastoral care teacher and faculty head of inclusion, there is no way you can give that time to young people, so it's trying to engage as many people as we can to support the young people in a one-to-one. We're incorporating the Resilience Toolkit into the PSHE programme. As Lee said before, big young people in our school just give up. When it becomes hard, no, I'm leaving, I can't do this, and it's trying to build that from first year upwards. And we're doing a gender-based violence programme, whole school, and it's from Rape Crisis. We've found that a lot of mental health issues may stem from poor relationships. So if we get in there, get it, raise awareness, and hopefully young people will feel confident about talking about this. So it's just a couple of things, or a few things we're doing this year in Whitehill that can feed into the programme. We're not here today to say what we're doing is fab. All of you in this room will be doing excellent things in schools, but it's to show how easily it is to feed into the qualification. Okay, I'll pass on to Lee.
Yeah, I think you're now 2-0 up. What's that even all about? Okay, so in terms of this, you're probably now going, why would a faculty head of social subjects even entertain this? Because Nikki is like all over this. Our plan is that
even though we've got, you know, so much stuff that that her faculty are organising and pushing through and doing, which is amazing, it's about reducing the stigma, which is one of the outcomes on that, and it's about taking away this, you know, hidden, oh, we can't talk about it, no, we want to talk about it. And we felt that if it's just been delivered in PSHE, then they might just think it's going to be, well, we do things in PHE that's a bit, you know, it's bad or it's not good, it's not, you know, things that we don't really want to talk about anywhere else. And we felt that, well, if I jump on Nikki's boat, then it becomes more of a wider kind of whole school approach. My faculty is one of the biggest in the school, and we see every young person, so that also gives us the opportunity. So when Nikki's team are seeing all the young people, they can see the learning context in a different subject area with different members of staff, obviously taking this forward. Now, like any other kind of curriculum person, we just take an outcome and go, right, how am I going to deliver this? And this is us in our implementation stages. As I said, I don't know if we did say at the beginning, we're just piloting this, like, you know, everybody else, if you are starting it this year. We're just taking a small group of young people, we're trying it out with them, because our goal is to make sure this is sustainable and this is something that's going to be worthwhile and we can implement it every single year. So within social subject time, it's basically, well, what you learn in PSHE. Tell me what's going on, tell me what you know about PSHE, because there's absolutely no point on us reinventing the wheel. And as I've obviously make it very clear, I am completely taking the lead from Nikki. We're kind of going down this kind of approach where we're looking at ideas of an internet research task. Let's get out there, let's see what mental health is, let's get an understanding of who suffers from mental health and the amount of people that suffer from mental health and all the different types of mental health, and it's kind of opening that debate up to the young people. Social media, as we all know, is just horrendous at times for young people, horrendous at times for adults, and how our young people every single day cope with social media and what happens to them in social media is practically, it's phenomenal how they can still come in and keep doing what they're doing. But what we're focusing on is looking at, and the person I use the example of at, I know I've put up suicide there, but the one is Ryan Reynolds. And when you tell a young person, so Ryan Reynolds has come out and said he had a mental health issue, he had a breakdown. Yeah, but he's hot, miss. Yes, he might be hot, but he still suffers like anybody else. Yeah, but he's loaded, so how? And it's really, really good conversations that you're having with young people, because they just think, we're for the East End, this kind of thing happens to us. Well, it's not. This is happening to people who look like they've got everything, who look as hot as Ryan Reynolds does. But they still suffer, and it's about getting young people to really take that on board. And as a faculty, some of our health and wellbeing outcomes is just a wee bit tricky at times to meaningfully slot it in. And now we've felt that when we've planned this out, this award through being delivered through social subjects, we are, as we need to, ensuring that we are delivering some of the health and wellbeing outcomes as well, which is a more natural way than just trying to force things in.
What I'm going to do now is just look at how we deliver it and how these topics fit into the course. So we do the mental health assemblies with S1 to 6. Inside Out was a film that was out about 6 years ago. We used that with S1s to look at emotions and how emotions affect people. S1 to 6, we take parts of the Sim Sleep course to deliver the importance of sleep and the importance to your mental health. We have a profile. Years ago we used to do a profile, and it was a healthy body, healthy mind, and we looked at keeping fit, not smoking and not drinking. Now we've implemented a big part into it's about the mental health too. So overall, your health and wellbeing, a big part of it is looking at their own mental health and taking it through the years S1 to 3. So they complete that at the end of every year in PSC. Internet safety, working with the young people, we've got a range of lessons that look at internet safety, but we're trying to get into not just the law, but the effects it can have on their mental health. Also covering units in young carers, we look at the impact of being a young carer and how it can affect young people and their mental health.
Okay, so we're still obviously focusing on Unit 1 and again looking at the different outcome. With us, we've just covered this one actually. So we were looking at a whole class discussion element of, well, okay, here's our understanding of mental health, let's pull it together and let's just try, so we've all got that kind of consistent approach to it. And just coming back to the first outcome, looking at examples of mental health issues in the media, which for the East End of Glasgow is quite a lot happening, and what our young people are not getting is, what we're trying to get this across to them, is that mental health isn't just one thing. You know, it's like not just there's a mental health issue, it's the spectrum of it, it's a wide range of it. And our young people are just at that stage just now, which is where Nikki's programme has really helped, because our young people have come into our discussions and they're far more equipped than I am to lead the discussions, and it's just getting this message out again, learning from the PSHE stuff.
Okay, to cover this unit in PSC, we look at the On Edge Self-Harm Resource Pack. Within that pack, it covers not just self-harm, but it looks at factors in society that cause mental health issues and how young people can be supported. We do a stress management programme in S4. We look at GOC1, the naked truth, and it's all about body image and how that can have a negative impact on your mental health. The Rosie project this year is a gender-based violence programme. They're coming in to deliver 4 lessons for every year group from S1 to 6 on positive relationships and how they can have an impact also. And Crush Resource Pack is about teenage relationships and violence within them. So those packs within PSHE feed in to the unit and achieving it.
Okay, so this is the one where I'll tell you the wee story that led up to this. I was looking at these, the units, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do with this one. So I was texting the Faculty Head of Science, again, who's a wonderful colleague and friend. And I was like, going to tell me how I would deliver this and what would it? She was like, no, Lee, you just don't even touch it. That's something that we're going to take on, because when both of us looked at this, we wanted to make sure that this one was done properly, and by those people who could talk about it properly. And Nikki and I could have pretended to try and talk about it and be like, oh, we're really scientific. But our science faculty is outstanding, and the faculty head was just like, leave it alone, leave it with me, I'll develop it and I'll take the young people. So that was just to give you an example of something that very, very lucky in the school that we're at, that their faculty head wants to take that on board. So she'll take the young people for a block of 4 weeks, and she'll talk them through the role of the brain, as an example, as it says there, and hopefully come back and tell Nikki and I how the role of the brain actually functions in terms of mental health. So that was Unit 1, and Nikki's going to really just talk about Unit 2, because that all is coming from mostly PSHE.
So to cover the elements of Unit 2, again, you'll all be doing these things. On Edge Resource Pack, CEOP resources. We felt that S1, friendship and bullying, so looking at the impact that bullying can have. Transition support. My role, I organise all the transitions from P7 all the way through to the Leave School, so the importance of getting that extra support in there and working with the young people. Substance misuse, from alcohol to drugs, etc. We have a big emphasis in all the year groups on substance misuse, and within tutor time we have developed it. We get 1 period a week where young people work with tutors in small groups, and we've been trying to implement a focus of mental health lessons within there, so they're in small groups, it's an open environment, they're able to speak to their tutors, and what we want is to have this openness with young people, that if they do have the knowledge about mental health, then they'll be willing to talk about it. To talk about the coping strategies and building resilience, again, I've probably spoken about it before, but the resilience toolkit, relaxation and stress management workshops. We've been getting people in from Glasgow Life to deliver workshops to do with relaxing and positive mental health, so yoga, etc. The study weekend, we covered elements of it that go into this unit. Seeking support. You can do everything you can to inform young people about mental health issues, but it's about if they recognise they have a mental health issue, or if one of their friends do, or family, where do they get the support? We're always saying that you can come to school, you can come and talk to us. Not every young person feels confident to walk into a room. Our base in the school has got 6 desks round about it. It's quite a hard thing to actually come up and say, I'm struggling. So we look at ranges of supports there, and we do lessons on where to find support in the area. Workshops, I think it's important that we identify young people who require the help. So we've been doing workshops with LifeLink. The early intervention team, Tom McLeod in Glasgow and his team, have been coming to work with young people who are offending. So how that ties into mental health and why they're offending. Young people, all behaviour is communication, as we know. Why these young people actually get to the stage in S2 where they've got a criminal record. So it's about trying to reverse and find out what the problem is, what's causing them to do that. And why people, again, have been coming in to do a lot of work with the school.
What we noticed was, as a team, as a social subjects team, and the language that we were using, and I was always very guilty of it, this idea of be a man, what you mind about, be a man, man up. And we recognised that as a staff about 6 months ago, when we were trying to encourage young people to just, come on, you can get there. And then all of a sudden I was like, what are we doing? What message are we getting across here? Why are we using this language? Why do we still think this is appropriate? And what we do with our young people, especially throughout social subjects, and very much so within our MPS learning and teaching, is about the importance of the language that we are using towards each other, and how the language and the words that we say can have an impact on someone else. Now, I've been talking all week about the Netflix 13 Reasons Why, maybe a wee bit late to the party, but I just recently watched it, and as much as it's not something I would ever show to young people, parts of it possibly, and Nikki and I have had a discussion about this, what I am now going down the road with in terms of helpful and unhelpful coping strategies and my approach to it is about the perception. It's about the way that we maybe do something that some other young person or some other, even a member of staff, just perceives it differently, and watching and being very careful as to the language that we use and the actions that we have, because we always have to be thinking about how this could affect another young person. And that, I think, is why we're taking that forward in terms of our learning and teaching, because our subject matter within our NPS is about, it's quite a personal thing, it's about beliefs, about values, and a lot of our young people, if they do have a belief, wouldn't necessarily talk about it because of the idea that somebody will be like, well, what are you talking about, you don't believe in that. So we're trying to encourage that. It's okay to talk, and it's great to talk, and let's discuss and listen to each other. And again, which I think I'd said in the slide before, what we're planning and doing is to make this a sustainable opportunity for our young people, and to see where the progress is that I'm sure some schools are doing this already, but we're hopefully going to engage with YPI, and our focus would be on mental health awareness charities and supporting them with the £3,000 cheque if and when we get to that stage. For our last one, yeah. So this is the second unit, yeah, and it's the second outcome in Unit 3. So again, just mostly taking the lead off of Nikki, within social subjects, we are going to be using case studies to exemplify ways to promote good mental health. The growth mindset for Whitehill Secondary School, not necessarily all the reading out there, but the way that we've taken it on board, and the young people have designed our growth mindset and where we're taking that forward. We're going to be implementing that to all of our young people from S1 to S6 across our entire curriculum. The importance of our relationships. Myself and Nikki and a lot of other members of staff are mentors for some of our young people, especially ones who are targeted for the 5 at 6 and so on. And it's really about the importance of us pushing them on and supporting them as much as we can to help them and to break down as many barriers as we can. And we're starting that off early in S1. Just exactly what we've been going back to, which is going to just be kind of permeate through everything we're talking about, is the impact and the dangers of social media. What I think was also discussed earlier is social media is also very, very positive, and if maybe they're following something negative on Instagram, then it's about maybe our job to say, right, well, what about this to follow on Instagram, or what about this person to look at, what about this message that's coming across, so to change their ways a wee bit with how they interact with social media. We also had our first successful Health and Wellbeing Week, which was in March. where, again, our head teacher's very supportive, so we were giving young people free water, free fruit for the entire week. For that first kind of Monday, Tuesday, it was like, what's happening here, what he's doing with the fruit? And then even staff were walking past, like, why am I taking the fruit? Take the fruit, just show everybody, take the fruit. And then by Wednesday, the young people were flooding into the school, they were taking their bottle of water, then complaining the water wasn't cold enough, anyway. But they were taking the fruit, they were starting off period 1 with, you know, a slightly healthier approach, and then by the time we finished it on the Friday, it was like, we're doing it again next week. We were like, no, we'll do it again. It was a great success, and again, that's building into kind of Nikki's plan and strategy of this idea of, you know, healthy body, healthy mind, that we're all trying to focus on for our young people.
Again, I don't want to repeat myself, but we have been working with mental health charities, and we've been trying to engage as many of them coming into the school as we can. We can stand on a stage at assemblies and go on, and the young people go, But it's good to get external people in to just talk about what their organisations can offer and raise awareness of it. And young people, what our plan is for young people to upskill them, and so they can come up with materials to then pass on to the years below. And if we build on that, then it's coming from the young people's perspective of what mental health is, what they face, and then they can pass it down. So hopefully it'll cascade down the year groups, and we'll end up with some fabulous resources that the young people have actually prepared themselves. It gives, as schools are always looking for leadership opportunities for young people to take this on board, and part of the buddy training is types of support. So for first years coming in, every first year has a buddy. If they're trained in the mental health aspect of things, then they're able to provide the support and maybe refer them on to us in pastoral care or to further supports. So, as I said before, this is some of the stuff we've been doing in PSA feeding.
Okay. Here's where our end goal. I know some of them are quite big goals, but this is where we ultimately want to go. Obviously, the thing is, it's a wider achievement opportunity. There's a certification at the end of that, and that certification needs to be something that's meaningful, as we said at the beginning. And I think the work that Nikki and I and other members of staff will be and have put into it so far will be reflected in how the young people feel about the award. It's not just something else that we can tick a box and say, oh, look what Whitehill Secondary School has got. It's something that we genuinely hope will, over the years, be fully embedded and be something that when you walk into our school, that it'll be mental health awareness, and it won't be anything that we're shying away from or anything that we've got a stigma. And also to upskill our staff. Staff, it's not Nikki's obviously involved in this every single day, and as I said, just something for me recently, I've kind of went, we need to kind of change a couple of things. So upskilling staff and making staff feel confident that even if they say something, it's okay to say it, but the young people will be fully aware of the language that's being used. So a sustainable wider achievement opportunity for us, raise awareness and increase understanding of mental health and wellbeing, and how to access support to overcome barriers, and that's the biggie. Again, through Nikki's exceptional work and me just jumping on there, trying to address the stigma surrounding mental health so it becomes a place of safety and not somewhere that the young people are shying away from or too embarrassed to talk about it. We want to really focus on the importance of wellbeing in our school community. I think we've made it very clear that obviously at the heart of everything that we do is our young people, and there's only so much we can get them. It's just about something else that they have to work, and if we can help them do that, and if we can help them overcome things, then I think we will win definitely half our battle. And I think Nikki's already maybe kind of touched on this idea of a mental health champion. It is a wee bit far down the line for us. We're not going to walk about with young people having badges going, I'm a mental health champion, but young people being able to stand up at an assembly, as what Nikki said, we can stand up, we can deliver, but not always that the young people will listen to us. But if another young person standing up there and talking about their journey or something that they've experienced, then it has much more of an effect than myself. Well, I think we're okay, but you know what I mean. And this is the first time that we're doing this. We always have our school non-uniform days, and it's always for the biggies. But what we have decided to do, we've got a charity elective within my faculty, and one of the first things that our charity elective was, in December, can we do suicide prevention? And that's something as a school we've never ever done before, and that wasn't anything that came from me. The young people were just fully aware of, right, here's something that has maybe affected an immediate member of their family, and they were very, very keen that in December, instead of we normally do the Christmas jumper day for Save the Children, which we are still doing, but they also wanted some of our non-uniform day money to go for suicide prevention, and that's a real big step for us in getting that message out there, because obviously we'll put posters up, and it'll be something that as a school community we're then breaking down that barrier to be able to talk about that comfortably and confidently, and obviously in a safe environment. Do you want to add anything? You'll be glad to know, I think we're done. Thank you.